Hello.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
You need time to get a drink or anything? Coffee?
Well, yeah, dude. I was about to do a
Find
workout.
someone else.
I was about to do a workout, and then
A workout. Oh my God, you have fucking such tweaker eyes of someone who does Joe Rogan's HGH things that he recommends.
No, I can't do that. I'm from New Jersey originally. I'm not down with the HGH. I think they do it differently there.
How does that even relate to New Jersey?
I figure because I grew up with a lot of dudes, and you've been to Jersey. I grew up in North Jersey, juice heads, like those Guido kind of guys. And
Yeah.
like it was always as a kid, man, like high school, college, all those dudes were doing that shit. And it was always
First of all, no, I didn't grow up with those guys. I grew up with fucking guys that lifted weights.
Where did you grow up, actually?
But it's not where, it's when.
Well, when and where?
Well, Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah, okay.
Not that much different.
Yeah.
But if you grew up in a place that did HGH, why would you say, I'm from there, that's why I don't do that?
It popped into my head because those dudes were doing that shit. And I don't know if Rogan does that shit, but I don't want to do that shit.
Well, I don't know what that shit is. He sells all the, kettlebells. I understand. It's a heavy item and you lift it and you get a muscle because you did it. So I don't know why you need to all these fucking cunts, they're closing and I don't want to close my gym and I'll go to jail. It's not an appropriate word anymore, but the people that go to gyms are just let's make up new fucking slang words.
Say
it. You want to go to a gym so people look at you doing that. It's the most ugliest fucking human American thing that you just lift heavy shit. Be a mover.
Speaking of, actually, there's a fuck ton of movers now all over the place. That's probably one of the better jobs to have.
Did you ever see a show called Nathan for You?
Yeah, I know that name. Yeah.
It was a very limited one of the atrocities that Comedy Central canceled because most people wouldn't get it. But it's basically he's a bar rescue for small businesses that buy into the prank, and then he just has ridiculous. So one of the things he does is starts a moving company that you have to pay them, or the people that are moving heavy furniture have to pay the company. It's a workout program, and he actually gets people to move people's furniture that otherwise you'd have to pay a moving company for. And now it's fucking brilliant.
And you said that was Comedy Central?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, how many shows did Comedy Central just totally fuck up? Obviously, I mean, you were the man show, but I mean, how many shows?
Well, no, that show sucked. My show sucked. It should have been dropped. But there's so many shows that maybe they're just.
So there.
Brilliant. It's like the Ali G show. Maybe he can only go so far with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's over. I mean, I've seen you. Shit, did I see you at Cobb's or Punchline in SF? This is years ago now. It's got to be fucking years ago.
They're the same thing.
They kind of are. I never went to the old Cobb's because Cobb's, there was a original Cobb's, right, in SF, and then it moved.
I don't even remember. I know Punchline was in the same place, and then they bought out Cobb's, and now they're the same. And I don't know if.
Do you always like performing in SF? It's an interesting city to do comedy in.
Yeah, no, I always love the shows there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually like being in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's the
one of the few towns I feel like I want to go out and walk around.
Yeah. No, I've been here for 10 years. Yeah. I grew up in North Jersey. I mean, I like seeing comedy here much more than other cities. I mean, I was at the Comedy Store, dude, 2 months before the world shut down. And that was my first time there. I walked in and Marin was walking out. I mean, I've been seeing, comedy forever, but having that opportunity to see it there. What other clubs do you like doing?
Well, the Comedy Store, when that kicked into overdrive and like restarted, that was the the flagship of the boom in comedy.
Yeah.
I would go there, and to me, it was like a high school reunion. And I'd see all these people I never even met, like fucking Chris Rock. I met him there, and I was shit-faced, and I from the conversation like, oh, I'm being that guy. And then Andy Dick was there, and I go, I'll go be that guy to Andy Dick. He can take it.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
In fact, I think I mouth raped Andy Dick the same night, where I just fucking went up and plunged my tongue into his mouth. And he's like, "Who are you?"
It wasn't him doing it to you?
No, I did it to him, and he had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
I go, oh, I predate the predators.
I mean, dude, that place, fucking dark energy in that place. I mean, everywhere you walk through, I mean, the stories about it have been told, but yeah, for anyone who's never been there, the energy in that place, that room.
Did you watch the series? I don't know if
the Showtime, the new documentary?
No, yeah, it's a five-part series. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, Tim Dillon was just talking about it. Joey Diaz was in it, though, right?
Yeah, I was hoping Tim Dillon would respond to this, but I got you.
It's what it is. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, him and I are kind of the same. We're from the same place, but he's doing it a little bit differently than I am. But, I mean,
he came down to play Phoenix. He's like, oh, should I go stop in and see Doug Stanhope? And I'm like, fuck yeah, come down. And then, like most people, they don't realize – that's an 8-hour round trip. That's like saying, oh, I'm coming to California. I'm going to LA. You're in San Francisco. Should I drop by? It's a long fucking way away. People don't understand. Arizona's huge.
Yeah. What clubs? Wait, are the clubs open now in Arizona? Is everything?
I have no idea. I live 100 miles from the closest airport.
Yeah.
Much less the closest clubs in Phoenix. Which is
you ever see going back on the road like it was before, even for like young and upcoming comedians? Is it ever going to be like that again, you think?
I have no idea. I mean, this is new to me, and the fact that I'm older than you by a lot, and I've never seen shit like this before. Like 9/11, that was really fun. This is fun with. This is like 9/11 if the towers were still burning a year later and hadn't fallen yet. So who knows?
I mean, shit. I was in Jersey when put it in perspective. I was a freshman in high school the week 9/11 happened, but I was 15 miles west of Manhattan. But we were going to concerts a week after 9/11. You know, so it was a different fucking thing. Yeah, man, it's a trip, dude. I don't know what's going to happen, but. What are you working? Are you working on anything right now? Are you still writing material? What do you do?
That's why I said I'll do anyone's podcast, because I have to finish the epilogue. My book came out on Audible in August.
You're on a book podcast.
No, yeah. Okay, so the book came out Audible exclusive in August.
Okay.
And now we can put it out in February, the hard copy on our own. So I have to write an extended epilogue because it's about the year of 2016, which for me was the most fucked up wall-to-wall year, from fucking New Year's to the Christmas, fucked up. And now we're putting out the hard copy. So I want to write an extended epilogue, and it's way easier to go, I'll do anybody's podcast rather than write.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that makes sense. Wait, you said it took it.
Here we are.
You chronicled your life throughout all of 2016?
Yeah. It started out like everything was going to be the perfect year. And it was just a fucking domino effect into my fucking wife going into a coma while Trump got elected at the end of the year. It was just this whole just catastrophe of a year. And I put it out. I had to write the introduction. I go, now that we're in 2020, it seems silly to put out a book about a terrible year, but this year has been fucking great for me. I have fucking loved 2020 into 21. I mean, so I'm going to write a lot about that, just so people that did listen to the Audible can have a reason to buy the hard copy.
Was that your first time trying to write a book? Had you ever thought about writing anything beforehand?
Yeah, I wrote 2 books before.
Yeah, I thought you do have books out before.
Yeah. What Digging Up Mother was a suicide case that we assisted. And then the middle one was just road stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, any road stories you want to talk about that you haven't written about?
I don't even remember the road.
Dude, honestly, I mean, I've been touring in bands forever. And if you put me in a club right now with my guitar, you know, it would feel like, it's been over a year since I've even seen a stage.
I was thinking about my COVID anniversary.
Yeah.
The last show I did, I believe, was October 12, March 12 in Baltimore. But then I had 2 more gigs that I flew to that shut down as soon as I landed.
Yeah.
So I did every hotspot. I did Seattle, then I flew to Baltimore. They shut down right before the show, but the show is like, we'll pretend we didn't hear the news and let this show go. Then I flew the next day to Boston, and when I landed San Francisco to play 3 nights at Cobb's.
I can literally show the ticket stub. I had a ticket for that show.
I could show you a picture on my phone of me standing under the sign that has my name and say shows are canceled. And then they shut down all of fucking San Francisco. And I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. And I bought the next ticket out because I couldn't get to Tucson. Went to Vegas for 2 days to see my manager, and then they shut us. They threw us out of the fucking hotel. We're like, well, we're closing Nevada. You have to be out by noon. And then I got home.
Yeah, I mean, I had tickets to see you. I had tickets to see Tim Dillon. The last show I saw was
that in the epilogue.
Yeah, I saw that at Mark Norman at Cobb's. That was Punchline. That was the last show.
Just the sorry, hang on.
Yeah, that's all.
Just the cavalcade of just the domino effect of COVID last tour. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I mean, yeah, I asked you before if you think it's going to be the same. You miss it?
Not at all.
Really?
No, I love it. That's why because when I started the book with that intro, that this is like a stupid time to bitch about a year. No, actually, this year, in comparison, I'm 53 years old. I have not slept in the same bed for a year since I was 17.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's like I'm after 30 years of road life, and before that, I was kind of a vagabond between 18 and 23 when I started comedy. I was still jumping all over the place and running around because nothing can hurt you when you're a kid.
Well, when you said 23, is 23 when it kind of started to become a little more serious?
No, when I started comedy.
You said from 18 to 23.
Well, I left home at 18.
Okay.
I moved to LA for 6 months or something to be an actor, and that didn't work out. And then I moved somewhere else, and then I moved somewhere else.
So you originally wanted to be an actor?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't know I sucked at it.
Okay. Well, were you cracking shit? Were you telling jokes back then?
Oh yeah, I was always like that, like I am today. I was the class clown that people don't appreciate. You have to have a certain sense of clownishness for that kind of class clown. I was all through grade school. My mother let me read Hustler magazine, and that's like that is an influence that when I started comedy, people would say, who are your influences? And I would just name stand-up comedians that I watched, but that wasn't really influencing. Like the most tasteless cartoon in the bits and pieces section of Hustler magazine. I remember I was probably 11 years old seeing just a one-frame cartoon with an enormous obese woman and a smallish man in between her legs, and she says, just pick through the scabs, honey, you'll find some wet meat.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the shit that influenced my comedy at like 11 years old.
Yeah. Well, can you remember what dudes you first saw who were doing the traditional stand-up that you were like, holy shit, maybe I could do that too?
I have vague memories of being a teenager, probably 16, and writing notes about stuff that could be stand-up comedy. I remember there was a comedy club, but I never really considered it till I was 23. I lived in Vegas, and there was open mics. That was at the end of the 80s boom.
Okay.
It was 1990, so there was still like prime time stand-up comedy on Fox. Like Sunday Night Comics was a primetime show, like The Bachelor is now. Stand-up comedy was still that big. So I did 6 open mics in my first week of comedy. There was that much comedy in Vegas, which was, I didn't know till later, the worst possible place to start stand-up comedy because there was no club that took locals on. There was either the Strip or your open mic. So there were open micers who had been doing open mic for 12 years just at bars that never got to be at a funny bone. Mm-hmm. There was like every other city for the listener. You have a comedy club where you have a local opener and an open mic. Not in the Vegas Strip. No, they get all fucking LA, New York people. So yeah, everyone lived in a vacuum.
You remember those first laughs? I mean, was there something in those open? I mean, what kind of like propelled you to go forward? I mean, were you working at that time? What were you doing?
I was doing fraud telemarketing for the first 6 months. Grab my trophy. Never mind. I'll grab it. I got it right here. Sorry, we just finished one of my podcasts, and I've been fucking with DirecTV for so long because they keep fucking me over. And they called during the podcast, so we took the call live, and we're fucking with the guy nicely. But I go, I wish I had my telemarketing trophy right now so I could stroke it to intimidate you. Yes.
Damn. Just like sitting in a cubicle cold calling people, yeah?
Basically, but not cold. Yeah. But it was definitely fraud.
Yeah, 1,000%.
It wasn't like hey, your thing on your car. What's those bot calls you always get now?
Wait, for your car?
Extended warranty.
Oh, yeah.
No, this was serious fraud.
Yeah, no, of course.
This is serious lying. This is not just.
And did you go to LA you're in Vegas? Is that when did you go back to LA?
I did like between 18 and 23, I did LA. I went to Florida. I went back home. I went to Vegas. I went to Idaho. I went back home. But 23 is when I started doing stand-up because that's when it was huge and there were open mics and I'd sit there and I'd ask, hey, if I write some jokes, can I go up next week? And then go, yeah. And then the next week I'd come without jokes. Next week, and it became a running joke. I think it was 5 weeks before I actually had enough 4 minutes to say about jerking off and such.
And how long were you doing those open mics? Like, what was the scene like? I mean, could you quickly get to that next level from the open mic level back then, or did you have to put in a lot of time?
No, I was, again, the first week I did 6 open mics. So I was doing it I did it for 6 months. I remember my first paid gig was $10 from the gate or whatever. And I called my brother. I remember I called my brother. I go, I'm technically a professional now because once you get paid, you're a professional. It's just like how in the Olympics in the old days, professionals, if you got paid a nickel, you're a professional. You can't get in. And my brother said, so you're a professional now. Does that mean you don't have to wear the protective headgear anymore?
Well, Joey Diaz talked about it all the time. He said there was a guy who would put all these shows in the middle of the country. Fuck, I forget his name. Tripoli gigs?
Tribble.
Were those around when you were doing that scene?
No, that's where I started. Yeah, I just listened to that Joey Diaz podcast where he talks about me. And
what did you guys?
It's so glowing when Joey Diaz talks about me. It's always glowing, and I'm sitting there as the fact checker going, that wasn't 92, that was 95. That was not the place. I know what you're talking about. No, and Dougie Stanhope, he did this fucking thing. You had to hear it. there's this fucking lesbian. She's sitting right in the front. And Dougie says, and he like completely ruins the bit that I did. Not that the bit was great, but he makes it sound like it sucks. He's got the year wrong. He has everything wrong.
Yeah.
That's why Joey Diaz was Teflon when they try to, oh, I made girls suck my dick for stage time. Like, no, that's just Joey shit that he says. Like Ralphie May was the biggest fucking liar in stand-up comedy. He had just a million stories about things that happened right after you left, and a porn star blew him in the Comedy Store bathroom. And I'm like, you can't fit in the Comedy Store bathroom, much less with a porn star. Like, but no one called him on his shit because he was a fucking genuinely beautiful human being. Yeah. Joey Diaz just gets the facts wrong, but it doesn't matter, like, especially when he's talking beautifully about you.
And as a fan of stand-up comedy, I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. You have to allow the comedian. There has to be some kind of fictional element to it. I don't expect everything you're telling me on the stage to be 100% the truth. Not everything is that funny.
That's a problem, depending on the comedian. I for the most part, I am honest to a fault, where just twisting it a little bit. And even when I do that, I have a tendency to say, all right, I didn't really say it. I thought of that on the way home. I didn't really say it to his face. I know the lie makes the story better, but I like to be sincere to the best of my recollection. I mean, sometimes there's a joke is just a joke.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if anyone would argue, I think you're one of the most genuine comedians that we have.
I remember I did a bit about Jake LaMotta, the boxer from Raging Bull. He was a neighbor down the street here in Bisbee, Arizona. And
wow.
His wife, fiance woman had him in a duo act, Lady and the Champ, they called it. And she sang really bad songs. And then they'd have him at 93 years old do some one-liners. I fought Sugar Ray so many times, I got diabetes. And he repeated the joke like 2 or 3 times during the thing, not knowing he'd already done the joke. So I did this whole bit about this on a special. And then he went on, after that came out, with Jim Norton back in the day, and he did the exact same joke that I talked about 3 times in 28 minutes. And the third time he said, did I already say that one? And Jim Norton says, don't worry, champ, it gets funnier every time. And I got shitloads of emails going, oh, I thought you exaggerated that. I'm like, no, I underplayed that because the truth was
and again, I'm so entrenched as a fan that I go to a lot of shows, but I feel like there are times where I see a stand-up and they crack a joke or whatever it is, and I'm like, no, I can't even believe it. I won't name any names, but yeah, I've seen a lot of fucking comedians. It's just like, you could tell they're full of shit. They're just good at molding that story into something funny.
Yeah, I've taken a lot of pride, which is probably misplaced, in the fact that, if I'm telling you this is a true story, again, there's jokes that are just, shock value jokes,
of course,
while the tabs come out just to get your attention back.
Are you a writer? Do you write a lot of jokes, or is it kind of, or have you always been?
Any idea at this point after 30 years?
Yeah.
Everything that I'm passionate about, I've talked about in every different way. Because I'm not like Bill Maher, where I just make up an opinion just to fill a weekly show. Anytime I think of something new, I probably wrote down 6 premises in the last 11 months of COVID.
Yeah.
But I go, yeah, I could turn that into an hour.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, you literally.
When I write down jokes, they're stupid. I wrote this down as the amount of time that it takes you to wake up and take a piss in the morning is the exact amount of time it takes you to forget a beautiful lucid dream you were having. And I go, yeah, that's a Jerry Seinfeld joke, but I wrote it down anyway because I liked it.
It's like an hourglass in your cock. Just you see the piss coming out, and it's.
Yeah, wait, I fucking remember it vividly, but now I don't because I get up to take a piss.
Yeah.
But
so what the fuck do you do? What do you do every day now? I mean, you went from living in an airplane to not.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the experience that other people have of having a home life.
Yeah.
I've lived in this house for 15 years plus.
Yeah.
Now I know where all my shit is.
Yeah.
I was a road comic when I moved in here. Just dump shit in here. I'm a homeowner. Now I know where my shit is.
Yeah, and I know you probably talked about it before, but what was the move? Why there specifically? It's,
just a cool town I found on the road.
Yeah.
When I lived in LA for 10 years, I'd drive out, into the middle guts of the hideous pig country that we and do all those gigs. And then on the way out or way back, we found this little town.
Yeah.
When we were killing time between gigs.
Yeah.
We just kept coming back here because it's cool. And then when I had to move out of LA, I'm like, why not? Why not move to, it's an hour and 45 minutes from an airport, but that hour and 45 minutes is never a lick of traffic. You can take 3 different ways to go there through the desert back roads.
Yeah.
Not a stoplight. There's one stoplight between my house and the exit to the airport in an hour and 45.
What are your thoughts then of the exodus of Los Angeles right now? It seems like everyone and their fucking mother is getting out of that city.
There's nothing makes me happier.
Yeah.
The idea of New York City and LA dying. They're fucking grotesque. And I prefer LA.
Uh-huh.
If I had to flip a coin.
What happens to what happens to the industry? What happens to the business? I mean, there's a whole new commerce of podcasting business. Obviously, that can be done anywhere. But what happens to the entertainment? I mean,
but what happens to all these call centers? Sorry, tonight we on the podcast that we just finished. That was dying at the beginning. No one had anything to say. It's a really difficult thing to keep up a podcast in a small town where you're just talking to each other. So what's new with you? I have this, I should give him a plug. At Notes from the Pen, Notes from the Penitentiary, at Notes from the Pen or notesfromthepen.com. He's a friend of ours. He's in prison. He accidentally killed his wife and so forth and so on. But he's a what's new there?
It keeps cutting out. So it cut out. I lost the last sentence of that.
Okay. He's in a 7-year prison or 11-year prison sentence. He's at 7 years. So I know not to say what's new. And that's what COVID has been like. So we're doing a podcast that we all know each other. We're all sitting in the same place. Nothing happens.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast, I talk to authors who are just sitting in their apartments, not doing shit. And, I started it because no one's doing anything. And I figured this is how fucking bored people are. You're talking to me.
If you're a fiction writer, I guess sitting alone in your apartment is a great time to make up shit.
What I've been doing, I mean,
it bores the fuck out of me.
I own a dog walking business. So, I mean, I have after work, I got nothing else going on. I'm serious.
Do you write?
What's
your predilection for writers?
Or are you asking, what's the question you're asking me? Are you asking what do I write? I mean,
Yeah, do you write fiction?
I write fiction. Yeah, I published my first book 3 weeks before the fucking world shut down.
Have you read Running the Light by Sam Talent?
No.
Well, I'll get back to it. You start it now.
Okay.
Write it down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm recording. I'll remember. Don't worry. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
What do you read? What are you reading? Do you ever read?
Yeah. I try to read. It's difficult because once I get into a book, I'm gone for a week.
Yeah.
I read slowly. I read passionately. I give up. Oh, the dog will get fed next week. But to find something that I'm that into, Sam Talent is a comic that wrote this book, and I've spent more time on his fucking career since I read that book. It's so good. It's such a perfect, and I hate fiction. This is fiction, but it is so, it's more, I'm running out of words. I took that edible. Now I have
wait, you mentioned Bill Maher before. Didn't you mention Bill Maher earlier? Didn't he write a book?
Yeah, he wrote a book. I read that when I was a kid.
It was about comedians, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about comedians. It was about like New York comedians.
Yeah. Sam
Talent writes about fucking road comics, which no movie has ever touched. No, like any stand-up comedy movie is always New York or LA, which is dog shit.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I'm about to finish my first novel about a fictional rock and roll band that takes place in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And like every other fucking book about a band takes place in like the late 60s, and it's already been done. And yeah, now that you mention that, I can't really think of any movie or book, it's definitely not a fictional book, about a road comic.
Running the Light by Sam Talent.
Yeah.
Is fucking absolutely not just brilliant writing, but it's real. It's what comics would go through if you're playing Amarillo, Texas, if you're playing Las Cruces. It's the fucking exact gigs. He's pegged it. He's fucking nailed it.
Yeah. What's his face?
Wait. I want to go back to what you were saying. Someone asked me about good comedians' books, and there's not many.
Yeah.
I always read like Norm Macdonald. Yeah, but that's kind of fiction. Norm Macdonald's book is great.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. The one I read like punk rock heroin guys to go, oh yeah, I get it. I've never done heroin. I've never played music. I couldn't tap my foot to a beat, but they have the stories.
Yeah.
Comics, they put up books about how they got over Tourette's or some shit.
Well, you should get a copy. Henry Rollins wrote an awesome book back in the day.
Get in the Van.
Mm-hmm.
Did I nail you?
Yeah. I mean, he fucking nailed it with that one.
I had a copy of Get in the Van that was covered in hot candle wax during a fucking sexual mishap where I had to tear up some carpet before my girlfriend got home.
Yeah.
That was back in the day. So that copy of Get in the Van, I think I sold it in an eBay auction.
I might have bought it. Who knows? But wait, books about comedians. The only ones I could think, I read the Chris Farley book that came out a couple of years ago. Maybe his brother put it out.
Hang on. Dead comics don't count. Dead comics are the ones you want to read about. I'm talking about comics who are putting out books about shenanigans on the road.
Yeah.
I wrote oh my God, I can't. I can't. Yes, I can. I can say. I wrote the foreword for Todd Barry's book.
Okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I have a Todd Barry story.
There was a point I thought I was getting punked because all he did is talk about, it was like a year on the road with Todd Barry. And all he talks about is trying to find a good coffee shop and the opener that picked him up. And it's just like, I was at my wife's bedside while she was dying in a coma. She lived.
I saw him.
I thought Brendan Walsh and Todd Barry set me up to have to write the forward for this book. Like, but it is Todd Barry's honest life. Eventually, I realized, yeah, that's what he does. He goes to a town, he says his jokes, then he goes to bed and wakes up and goes to find coffee in Hattiesburg at another coffee place. And I'm like, I don't know how I can. What am I supposed to write?
I saw him at cons.
Funny as fuck.
Yeah, it was an interesting. He was doing mostly crowd work though. I mean, I mean, that was my first time seeing him, and he did an hour of crowd work pretty much.
Yeah, well, you did a whole special about him doing crowd work.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too privy of his actual work. I just knew of him.
It should have been called "You Had to Be There," because crowd work works on a crowd, not an audience that's watching you do crowd work that they're not a crowd of.
Yeah, because Big J put out an album, crowd work, I think. Comics do it. Do you do a lot of crowd work or no?
No, not unless I'm hideously inspired, which would mean cocaine. And
yeah. Oh, it could happen. You never know. I don't know. I mean, but what do you think it's going to be like when you step on that? You're going to get on a stage at some point again, I'd imagine.
I'm gonna have to, or die.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, at this point, because I don't know. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this whole world. Ron White was saying he wasn't going to do it ever again, and now he's doing it again. So it just seems to be in your blood. It's what you guys do.
No. I'm not that guy. I'm different from.
Tell me. Yeah, I don't know.
No, Attell is that guy.
Yeah.
Rogan is that guy.
Yeah.
They need to be on stage. I don't. The more successful that I got, the more terrified I was to do it.
Really?
I was less terrified as an open micer than I was as a fucking sold out show at the Hammersmith in London.
Was it like a self-imposed pressure? I mean, why?
Yeah, it is, because I have a very narrow fan base, and you have to produce for them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not fucking Jimmy Fallon who can just say some stuff and be cute. And the people that follow me expect a caliber.
Yeah.
And all right, I don't have any ideas right now. The podcast we did tonight, I was embarrassed for the first 20 minutes, and then it got good.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, thank God. Yeah. And I don't want to sell shit, but I also don't want to pretend to be someone I'm not. Like, yeah, if I'm having a fucking bad day, I'm going to tell you about it on stage. Because you know what? Whatever job you have, you're phoning it in more often than I am, so you get it. So sometimes, how often can you say the same shit and feel confident? Yeah, when I wrote this, it was funny, but now that I've said it 70 times in 3 months, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
To me. So then you have to, that's why I drink. Okay. I'll drink a lot of enthusiasm into this project.
Yeah, comparing stand-up comedy to live music, bands can play the same 20 fucking songs their whole career, but every night it can be they can make it just a little bit different. How did you go about making it different for yourself?
But the problem is your dilemma is where you have a brand new song, not specifically, but let's say a famous band, where they have a new song they're really proud of and nobody gives a fuck. And they know it's a good song, but everyone just showed up for the old shit. That's as much of a problem as you having someone who stays Oh, he was so funny in the first show. We're going to stay for the second show. Oh, he didn't come up with all of that off the top of his head. It's the exact same words and pauses.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the tour, I mean, you could probably fucking just do it in your sleep at that point. I mean, by the end of whatever it is, whatever material you're working. Do you record your specials at the end of that run? Is that how you kind of do it? You work the material and then record?
Yeah. You get to a point where you're like, all right, let's just record this because I'm tired of saying it.
Yeah. What was your favorite special you made?
I don't know. Maybe 2 years ago, I went on a lot of road trips, and I forced myself to listen to myself, which is tough. Maybe not in a band if you can sing, but just listening to your own voice.
Back. Yeah.
Like mostly because I wanted to make sure after this much time that I'm not stealing too much material from my earlier self.
Really?
Yeah, fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably talked about this. Am I saying the same jokes? And I made myself listen to everything I've done, which I've done a few times. But this time I didn't hate it. I didn't fucking hate myself. And I went, yeah, I get some good shit. So the best of, I've thought about like doing like a Twitter poll of that. And I don't want to hear people's opinions because I just felt good about myself.
Yeah.
Why let them in to ruin it again?
So you said, but at the end,
no refunds before turning the gun on himself and beer hall putsch. But there's also a lesser known one, even to me, called From Across the Street. I go, fuck, I thought this was kind of a throwaway, but this is fucking good.
Yeah. Wait, so even after all this time, you're still, not only are you worried about ripping off yourself, I mean, you're worried about ripping off yourself. I mean, has it ever come into your life about, I've been balls deep, for some reason, YouTube's been showing all those, I guess Mencia is back on the scene right now, or doing some appearances. Was that ever part of your life? Do you
no.
Not the joke thief, but not him specifically.
The only person that ever ripped me off blatantly was Jim Jeffries.
Oh,
and
wow.
He kind of made his career off that bit. And it was the rubber fuck my face. His was a vibrating egg in the ass. And he told me he fucking stole the bit.
Yeah.
But by then, like, he stole it off a DVD. Once I had it, it was my first DVD ever. And once you put it out, you don't do it again as a comic. So, yeah, he stole it, but he kept doing it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's the only person who ever ripped off like a long version bit of mine.
Yeah. Have you ever written a joke and then run it by someone and someone told you that someone else has done that before, like just without knowing it?
Not often enough. That's the problem. That you hope a friend of yours will go, hey, so-and-so is doing that joke. Not so much anymore, but back in the day when there were 5 channels.
Yeah.
Like when people knew, you can find someone on Twitter. If you're a joke writer, you can find someone on Twitter that's already done that joke that works at the fucking post office, which is really where you check yourself. All right, fucking album titles. Hey, I have this great album title. Oh, I'm so terrified to. So that's why the new book is No Encore for the Donkey. It comes up in the book, and it doesn't really have to do with the full. But my manager says, all your other title ideas, anyone could come up with. No Encore for the Donkey, and it is part of the book.
Yeah.
But it's not what you would expect. He goes, that's original. Okay, let's go with that. It doesn't encompass the full year, but it encompasses what I felt at that moment, going back down to the bottom of comedy.
Wait, what do you mean back to the bottom? What do you mean by that?
Well, you'd have to read the book. Maybe next time before you fucking schedule a guest, You might read the book first.
It might be helpful. I'll get the audiobook version.
Yeah. Next time you fucking jump at a fucking opportunity.
Jump on Twitter. How many times? I gotta admit, this is the first time I've seen you do this. How many times have you done this before?
A few. I've been drunk for 11 months. So a few times.
Have any of them been total fucking bombs?
Yeah, sometimes they're from the UK. You can't understand a word they fucking say.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not trying to promote anything.
Of course not. Yeah.
I had a podcast that went poorly at the beginning. By the end, it was fucking, I don't want this to end. And then I go, I'll just, yes, I do this. I do this often enough. Hey, send me a fucking.
I mean,
I don't know how I would send someone else a Zoom link if I knew how to do it.
Well, I mean,
talk to my friends.
We've been doing this we've been doing this for like 30 plus minutes. The entire time we've been doing this, the waiting room is just blowing up with people trying to get on. So I wasn't sure. I put the thread on. I put it on the thread. I wasn't sure if you were for real. Then you fucking.
Yeah, no. Let's talk to people.
All right, we got Katie, Allie.
I love this.
Let's do Allie. Let's see if Allie comes on.
All
right. Let's see if Allie's here.
I look fucking crazy in this light, and I have like kind of normal light here. But
is she on here? Allie, you with us?
Allie, unmute yourself, you fucking idiot.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, we can't see you, Allie.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I don't know what's going on.
Look at those buttons.
Oh.
Hurry up, Allie.
I might need a drink.
All right, Allie's gone. Should I do Bill's stage?
Yeah, do everyone. Admit everyone. I don't know how this works, Michael Johnston.
Okay. Well, they all left. The next
I have a guy
who does it for you.
Yeah, and he never lets me touch the buttons.
Well, they all fucking left. Next one pops in. Right. Yeah, I'll admit him in. What time you got to go? What you want to just keep talking? Whatever you want to do, man. I might as well start drinking with you, I guess.
Well, yeah, no, I'm getting a drink made, and I'm gonna bail out. Oh, of course, San Francisco.
Oh, Malbec.
You red wine drinking motherfuckers. There was in the 80s. There was some player from the 49ers that just publicly shit on the crowds. Yeah, well, maybe if our red wine drinking fucking fans would make some fucking noise. And it was like just shit on San Francisco fucking football crowds.
Dude, it's SF. It's such an I've been here for 10 years, man. It's the one city people love to shit on, but you never hear about it in the news, man. Nothing bad ever happens here, man. People just, I've been everywhere in the country. It's still my favorite city in America.
He was very accurate in that it's not a sports town.
No.
I live in the Austin of Arizona, which is 5,000 people, and then they try to do baseball right down the street in the oldest working baseball park in America. And every year someone would go, "We should bring baseball back." I go, "No, it's a fucking hippie town. No one gives a fuck about baseball." And then the guy came to me because we're the only ones that would go. Yeah. And then we'd bring a crew of us down and heckle. We have more hecklers in the stands than they have players. And they can hear us like they're in a fucking amphitheater. Everything we say, the outfield can hear us say. So, and we'd keep it family friendly for the 5 people that showed up with some kids.
Yeah.
But we're still busting balls. And like, he asked me, like, you guys come down and support all the time. How do we get more people? I go, well, get a lesbian pitcher. Like, fucking, this is a hippie town. It's a fucking gay-friendly town. No one's going to want to watch baseball. Baseball players don't want to watch baseball.
What's the movie with Tom Hanks?
A Girl of Their Own, a something of their own.
A League of Their Own?
A League of Their Own.
Yeah. Yeah, would you pay to watch Rosie O'Donnell swing a bat?
You know what? I think I would get along Rosie O'Donnell is one of those people that I think would probably hate me in theory.
Yeah.
But if I talked to them, we'd get along. We'd be, yeah.
Well, she was a comic.
Yeah, but some comics are a little touchy. But a lot of comics just hear a bit of mine. I remember, who was it that said, I just ran into, I have a bit, I hate the Jews. I think that's on No Refunds. And some comics said they were with Adam Sandler and his crew. And he's like, yeah, what's up with Doug Stanhope? He hates Jews. And I'm like, this even came up with a neighbor, a lesbian couple that were preachers, or not preachers, that sounds evangelical, but they were whatever. Yeah,
in the church.
Fucking, yeah, they were preachers of a certain,
yeah.
And when they heard that I had moved in, they said to our other neighbor, well, like homosexuals either. And that guy was a Jew, and he's heard the bit. He's like, no, it has nothing to do with hating the Jews. You have to just listen. And so, yeah, you have to find some acceptance. So I think a lot of comics that would be, fucking cancel culture-y kind of comics that don't know me would go, oh, like Joey Diaz. Like, if you knew Joey Diaz, you'd go, oh, no, he's just saying some ribald shenanigans.
What do you think about that climate right now? I mean, dude, these fucking comedians, it's just, it's so touchy. I mean,
why don't you go fucking read my latest book and listen to my last special? It's The Dying of a Last Breed.
Yeah. I saw Louis. He did his first shows back. I went San Jose Improv and got a ticket, and they were, I forget when this was, but I mean, news crew. I remember. Yeah, news crews outside. I mean, have you done the San Jose Improv?
Yeah.
So I'm in the balcony. There's a balcony there. Yeah, I'm in the balcony, and you could hear them outside chanting. Must have been 300 people. But now he's back in it. I mean, it's cyclical, but who knows? I don't know. It's gnarly. It's gnarly.
I'm sure I was at the San Jose Improv, and I really think that I was there when I said, listen, we're sold out here, but if Louis C.K., right in the heart of Louis C.K. shit, if Louis C.K. wanted to come back and just do stand-up, he would sell out 3 times this right across the street from me. Mm-hmm. Because you're only beholden to the ticket buyers. When you do stand-up comedy, that's the only people, all the people that apologize are people who are working for NBC or shilling Burger King or something like that. They have to apologize to them. The only people that can cancel me are the ticket buyers.
Your fans. And I mean, that's what's awesome. I don't know if you fuck with Patreon, but that's what's so dope about Patreon. I mean, you should
listen to my podcast.
Is it on Patreon? Come on.
Yeah, you know nothing about me.
That's not totally true.
You're a fan now.
Yeah, but but that, thank God we have that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise,
they're taking away this guy's career. No, this guy could have his own career. This guy's fucking working for Burger King, and fuck you.
There's a couple of comedians who right now are kind of. I'm a big fan of Giannis Pappas, like History Hyenas. They got a podcast, and they just split up. And Giannis is my thing, and the other guy is doing his thing. And it's. People have what they want to do right now, and it's for better or for worse. Is that a new haircut?
Sorry, but I realized he's in my old phone. I was gonna call Giannis Pappas right now and fucking put him on.
We actually message on Instagram. He hits me up.
I love Giannis.
He's the man. His new podcast is dope too, Yanni Long Days.
I don't listen to podcasts, especially my own.
Yeah.
And when I did, it was when I was on the road and we had 7 hours to kill. But
what was your favorite?
Unless someone says so-and-so that you like mentioned your name at the fucking 28-minute mark, and then I'll go, all right, I'll listen to my name occasionally, unless I'm afraid they're going to say something bad.
Is it that people hit you up? I mean, does that happen often enough that people hit you up and be like, dude, you were talked about, and will you go check it out? And
no, sometimes someone says, hey, well, the Joey Diaz one. Sorry, I'm taking a piss.
No.
The Joey Diaz one, where he's the recent one, where he talked a lot about you, and I listened. Yeah.
Still pissing? You there?
Into the water so you can hear it. I could piss into the bowl and on the side of the bowl, so it would be a little bit more. Oh my God! Can you work my prostate?
I can even add sound effects. All emptied. At least
is that a Murphy bed behind you?
No, it's I'm in my kitchen.
You gotta move the fuck out of that coast. That entire coast sucks. Everything about New York sucks. And New Jersey is part of New York. It's all fucking filthy and awful and crowded. And get here where there's more color.
Dude, I like it. I like Tucson, man. My band, one of my old bands, played in Tucson all the time. I loved it out there. I hate Phoenix though. I couldn't do Phoenix.
Yeah, there's a lot of terrible there, but it's all better than New York or including New Jersey.
You're in Arizona forever, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have ramps built for where I've smoked too much. I can't fucking walk up 3 stairs.
Well, they're saying right now smokers are the best. It's good to be a smoker with Corona.
In Jersey, yeah, I saw that where Jersey they put smokers ahead of teachers.
Fucking ridiculous.
Hey, guess who paid the fucking bill for this school? Smokers. That's right. That's why you have a fucking paycheck, teachers, because you tax smokers to $11 a fucking pack.
Yeah.
Oh, good. My battery's running low. That means we can close on fuck New Jersey teachers because smokers paid your way.
Doug, dude, this has been a blast, man.
I had fun with you. I won't remember you because that's how my head works.
No worries. I'll tweet it out. Maybe, hopefully you'll retweet it. I would love that.
I tweeted that we're doing this now. So, yeah, tweet it at me.
Yeah, I'll release it tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Enjoy your night, Doug. Thanks so much, dude.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Later.